Hello, my name is Claudia Arlegui. This is my first CCR, and question 1 is, how does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues? So in our product, we had used several conventions like boom shots, tracking shots, random movement, low angles, etc. Juan was our editor, and Cindy was our director of photography, and I was the lead actress and screenwriter of this film. In our first scene, I filmed Juan watching Cindy, and what we used here was a boom shot. The point of using a boom shot was so that when I bring the camera down to the floor, you are able to see Cindy walking out the side gate to throw out her trash, while there is a wet and crumbled missing persons flyer on the floor, right in the middle of the frame. Juan steps right on it to be able to show how careless he is about that victim, and just stays watching Cindy, conspiring as to what he's going to do to her. When filming this boom shot, I went at a slower pace to record Juan, so that the viewers could have more suspicion as to who this person was, and as to why I was filming them. We decided not to get too much of his face shown in the frame, so it can also show that he's very secretive and is hiding something. In this case, it's that he's a serial killer. Now going on to this next scene, we used an establishing shot so that the viewers know that this next portion of our film will be taking place in a house at night, since it's dark outside. While filming the scenes of me getting ready, it always stayed at a single shot with no dialogue to show that I was focused on what I was doing and that I was getting ready with a purpose. This continues as we filmed our scene with me walking to my car. Once again, it was another boom shot, but this time we also included a tracking shot. It started off this time as a worm's eye view, and it was then pulled out. This was done to show that my character, Lori, also walked with a purpose and that she was determined to end what she was going to get herself into. We used a tracking shot so that the camera could also lead me to my car and I could drive off. During this time, the viewers do not know where I am supposed to be going, only that I have analyzing notepad that I had with me, and that I also had it with me while I was leaving. In this scene, we used an insert shot for the phone call, so that the viewers could see who was calling me. Based off the silly contact picture I had for the caller, Katie, the viewers would understand that it's a friend calling me. The camera was then pulled out and panned towards me, so that the viewers could see my expressions while talking on the phone. We then transitioned into a point of view shot where the viewers finally get to see what I had been analyzing. This is done so that they can finally begin to understand my purpose in this movie, and that is that I'm looking for Cindy, aka Isabel Martinez, and that my main suspect is Juan, aka Eddie Creed. We included random movement to show that I'm looking around at my notes, so that the audience feels like they are also part of the scene. We then included another insert shot, and that became a close-up shot of me opening and looking at my badge, which is when the audience finally gets to figure out that I am truly an undercover cop. This shot was done so that when Cindy went in for the close-up, the viewer could see my badge and picture, and to the viewer's left, they were able to see my taser and pepper spray. This was done on purpose to show that I am armed. When I get out of my car, we do a close-up on my shoes to show that I am a character of importance and I have dominance. In films, when a character is important gets out of the car, they'll normally go ahead and film straight and do a close-up to their feet when they step out of the car, and will later on get the rest of their body, which is what we tried doing here. When I closed the car door, we did a match cut to Cynthia opening the trunk of the car. We made this to be a low-angle shot so that it looks like she's getting something from her car, and so that it also makes it difficult to see the surroundings behind her. This shows how she's also oblivious as to who could be around her, which is when she gets kidnapped. We decided to keep the killer's face hidden to leave the viewer thinking if this could be a copycat serial killer, or if it's just Eddie Creed striking again.
Our product represents women empowerment and the dangers in society. In this film, our main character, Laura Santiago, who is played by me, is trying to get justice for the victims, and the most recent victim, Isabel Martinez, who had just been kidnapped by a serial killer suspected to be a man named Eddie Creed. Laura puts herself at risk to find the victims not only because she's an undercover cop, but also because she sets up a date with this killer through Tinder, as mentioned in the conversation she has on the phone with her friend. This is something that a man normally wouldn't do. It isn't typical for a man to schedule an outing with a killer in TV shows and movies. However, it's simpler for a female to do so because of the fact that they can attract the criminal easier. Lori is doing this by herself, and she keeps the fact that she's an undercover cop from the people she cares about. Hence the reason as to why her friend on the phone said that she does sports medicine and that she cannot defend herself. She is the one who will stop this killer, and she's planning on doing it alone, using her own evidence and her own skills. Laura is considered to be the final girl in this situation. This also spreads awareness to the dangers in the world. not only with social media and dating applications, but also with our surroundings. In both times where the serial killer strikes in our film, the victims are not aware of their surroundings. Laura was also able to match with our killer through Tinder, which is a possible way for Eddie Creed to have been able to scope out his victims previously. This is a dangerous world, especially in the case of women, because they always have to keep one eye over their shoulder. And that is some of the ways as to how our film relates to social groups and issues.